Good evening. Tonight we're going to do Module 3, Lesson 30. I can solve division problems with the 0 in the dividend or with the 0 in the quotient. 409 divided by 5. So let's put 409 in that little division house. And on the outside, we're dividing by 5. Remember the steps. D, M, S, B, and R. And many times, especially in this, after we bring down, we're going to go back to division. So 5 cannot go into 4. So we're just going to put an X here to placeholder. And so 5 can't go into 4, so let's go into the tens place. But 5 can go into 40. 5 can go into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. So now we go to subtraction. And we subtract, we get a 0. And the next step is to bring down. And we're going to bring down the 9. And after we bring down, we go back to division. 5 goes into 9 one time. 1 times 5, 5. We subtract and we get a remainder of 4 because there is nothing left to bring down. We brought down all the numbers. So it's 81, remainder 4. But remember, we always have to do we always have to check with multiplication. And we're going to do when we check, we always use the outside numbers of the division house to check. So 81 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 8 times 5 is 40. Don't forget to add on our remainder. And we get 409. And we have 409 in the house. And there we go. So we did it right. Excellent job. The next one is 503 divided by 2. So let's set up our division house. And 2's outside. And let's make sure we remember our steps. And we go back to division after we bring down. All right, let's change some colors here. Getting bored of the black. So 2 goes into 5. How many times can 2 go into 500? It can go in twice. And then we go to multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4. After multiplication, we subtract and we get 1. After we subtract, we bring down and we have a 0. 2 goes into 10 because after we bring down, we always go back to division. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. And then we subtract. After we subtract, we bring down our last number, and it's a 3. 2 goes into 3 once. And after we divide, we multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. After we multiply, we subtract, and we get 1. Then we check to see, is there any numbers left to bring down? And there is no more numbers to bring down. So our 1 becomes our remainder. So our answer is 251, remainder 1. But remember, we always have to make sure we check. And it becomes 251 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus this 1 is 5. But don't forget to add on the remainder. Plus 1 becomes 503. And that's what we have here, 503. 831 divided by 4. Let's set it up. 831 in the division house. Don't forget our steps. Got to remember these steps. After we bring down, go back to division. So 4 can go into 8 2 times. Multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. After we multiply, we subtract. And then after we subtract, we bring down. Now, 4 times what gives us 3? There's nothing that gives us 3 except 0. Because 0 times 4 is 0. It's the closest we can get without going over 3. So we put a 0 here. 0 times 4 is 0. And then we subtract. And we get 3. After we subtract, we bring down, and it becomes 31. 4 times what brings us close to 31? And can't be 8 because 4 times 8 is 32, and that goes over. So it has to be 7. Then we multiply. 7 times 4 is 28. And then when we subtract, 1 minus 8 we can't do, so we have to borrow. And this becomes 11 minus 8, which is 3. So there is nothing left to bring down. We already used the last number. So this 3 becomes our remainder. And we always have to make sure we check. I sound like a broken record, but hopefully you're going to, that broken record will help you. 207 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Put the 8, carry the 2. 0 times 4 is 0 plus this 2, it becomes a 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Don't forget our remainder. Plus 3, and it becomes 831. And we did it correctly. The next one, 2060 divided by 5. Division, multiplication, subtraction, bring down, and remainder. But after we bring down, we always go back to divide. So here we go. 5 goes into 2. Nothing times 5 would bring us 2. So we're just going to put an X here. And then we're going to go to the hundreds. And this now becomes a 20. 5 times what brings us close to 20? Well, it actually is on the dot. We can actually multiply it by 4. Because 4 times 5 is 20. After we multiply, we subtract, and we get 0. After we subtract, we're supposed to bring down the next number. 5 goes into 6. As close as we can would be a 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. Now, we'll bring down our last number, which is a 0. 5 goes into 10, because after we bring down, we divide. 10 divided by 5, it goes twice. 2 times 5 is 10, and we have a 0 remainder. Now we need to make sure we check. And it's 412 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 1 times 5 is 5, plus this 1 becomes a 6. 4 times 5 is 20. And we have a match. All right, our last problem for this evening. Let's go set it up in the math house here. 4 on the outside, 6,000, this is a big one, 218, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and remainder. After we bring down, let's go back to division. So 4 can go into 6. How close can we get? We can only go by 1. 1 times 4 is 4. And then after we multiply, we subtract, and we get 2. After we subtract, we bring down. Bring down the other 2. And then, after we bring down, we have to go back to divide. So 4 times what gives us close to 22? That would be 5. Because 5 times 4 is 20. Then we subtract. We get 2. This one's a big one. So after we subtract and we got 2, we need to bring down that next 1. 4 goes into 21. How many times? The closest we can get is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. And then we're supposed to subtract these 2 and get 1. And then way up here, all the way down. Our last number to bring down is an 8. 4 times what would bring us closest to 8? Closest to 18 would be a 4. Because 4 times 4 is 16. We subtract, and we are left with a 2. Because notice, after the 8, there's nothing left to bring down. And after we bring down, and there's nothing to bring down anymore, and after we subtract, we skip right over to the remainder, and our remainder is 2. So now we got to check this big one. All right, and we're going to check with 1,554 times it by the outside number 4. 4 times 4, 16. Put the 6, carry the 1. 5 times 4 is 20, plus this 1, 21, carry the 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus this 2 is 22. 1 times 4 is 4, plus this 2 is 6. But do not forget that we have a remainder 2 that we need to add on. 8, 1, 2, 6,218. And we've got a match. Excellence is not being the best. It is doing your best. All right, let's see how well we can do tonight. 602 divided by 3. Make sure that you check to see if your answer's right. We should all get hundreds tonight because we're checking our work. Next one, 9,031 divided by 2. Be sure to check. 8,000 divided by 4. Again, make sure you check. 4,025 divided by 3. And again, be sure to check. Excellent job tonight, guys. Double thumbs up. Have a wonderful night.